Howdy doody. Woo. Howdy doody, everybody. How are we? Looks like my chat is a little bit slow behind. Hopefully, everybody's fine this weekend. Yeah, I'm not in my training room. I'm back outside in the lounge room. A little bit cramped in the training room at the moment because I've got the construction on the main layout being worked on. I'll say a quick hello to everybody that's here. Trainman one, you were the first one. Sorry, but I can't give you the cookie because I got attacked while getting the cookie and the rabbit bit me. So you got to go and see the boss. Randall, how are you? Nice to see you in here. Wigwag was number 2. Then we got Curly Dwight, how are you? Tammy and Ray, hopefully you guys are all right. Your castle's looking pretty good. John Benicki, g'day. I see you need a drawbridge. Tammy, let me get you a drawbridge. Go over here. Bit of pen and paper. Just doing a drawbridge for Tammy. There you go, Tammy. Done you a drawbridge. Hopefully that'll be okay for you. I better be careful. She's going to slap me all the way from South Carolina. G'day, Terry. How are you? nice to see you in here, bud. Yeah, hopefully everyone's well. Been a little bit. It started already. Well, look, at least I'll keep my pants on this time. It's too cold for shorts here. We had one wicked hell of a storm here last night. I tell you what. Yesterday morning, I woke up. I had to cut the cross pieces for my layout, and with the rain forecast, and I was working so flat out, and then it started and moving everything else under the awning because I really only got a week to get the track work up and going. It sprinkled a little bit. I cut all the main pieces up. I cut the plywood that I needed for the main bottom section. Started going inside. G'day, Kyle. How are you? Started putting everything together. And again, I done the big boo-boo. You want to think of it. I mentioned this once before. One of my tape measures, the measurements goes out after a certain distance, and my measurements was wrong with the main frame, so I had to adjust it. So as I started adjusting that, wouldn't dream of the whole thing just went clock in the room, and there's g'day Mystic Robin, and there's not much room in there, and I didn't want to go out and use the power saw at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, because I'm trying to be good with my neighbours here. We're pretty good and whatnot. I know Ben next door, he does a lot of shift work, and I think they must have had something going on next door, so I didn't want to make too much noise. But yeah, the heavens just opened up. But I'm glad the large chunk of the woodwork's done. I still got to do a couple of braces later. So I'm going to try to keep this to an hour because I do have a little bit more work to go. I do have some pictures I will share with you guys. Just give me a moment. So you guys can actually see how it's looking at the moment. Just give me a moment. I'm not an expert at this, like some. I don't have my sidekick today. They went out on the journey and said they weren't going to be able to make it in. So I got to do this all on my own, but it's fine. I can handle it. I'm a big boy. So that's how it is looking at the moment. That's how the layout's looking at the moment. Yes, there is a little bit of a gap towards the front of us here, but that's okay because I am going to put some uprights there for the upper level to give us some support. And you wouldn't believe it. Look, the plywood that we have here is probably about 1.5 inches shorter than an 8-foot board. So, g'day, Steve. How are you, buddy? Found your nuts? Yeah, I found me nuts, and yeah, look what I've done to my wood. So, it's sort of like fitted together. I did do a trial run with roughly with the track plan on what's going to work on. And I found then I was going to use the Atlas 24-inch radius. And I've also, g'day Andy, how are you? I do have some Pico number 4s, which is a pretty much similar radius. The geometry is different. So later today after the show, once I do the brace, I've got to do a bit of a support brace towards the bottom left-hand side there on the big sheet. Daryl, how are you? Because I haven't got nothing secure underneath. Once I do that, then I start doing the track, start laying the track and working it all out and do the roses. To show you guys how much actual room there is, in the back corner where you see the blue soldering iron, that's where the work table will be. Yes, there is a lot of junk, but eventually a lot of that will be sorted out, but a lot of it will be going under the main layout. So that's going to free up a lot of space. So as you see, it's going to be very, very cramped in there. That's why I had to go for a small table. So I'm progressing. With it. So as you can see, I have been doing a lot of work in between appointments and everything else. So yeah, it's been flat out. Steve, are you still in this side of the world, or are you back at home? Okay. Progress is good. Yeah, it is getting there. I am a little bit behind, as I said, because I have all these other appointments that I've got to meet up with and whatnot. So I've got to try to get, I at least want to get the track work up and running by the end of the week. Well, yeah, my goal is to have it all up and run by this time next week. And I've gotten softwood instead of hardwood. Would have given you more room. Yeah, thanks, Steve. I think this is the softest I could use at the moment. But I did notice like a couple of those little holes that you see in the middle. I actually discovered something last night. Oh, you're back in Washington. Okay. So you're back home. All right. If you ever come over this neck of the woods, let me know, Steve. And we'll get together. I I have realised something like those little holes that you see, they're going to be access points during construction. Also, there's going to be uprights that go up to hold the next level up. And I noticed that I'm not as skinny as I once was. A bit of a struggle to get in between one of those holes. We won't go into that. I've got to leave those donuts and cookies alone, I suppose. Anyway, I'm going to put up a link if anybody wants to pop in and say a quick hello and hang out with us. As I said, I don't have Anthony here today. Next year, maybe a trip to Victoria, not sure. Oh, if that's the case, let me know, Steve, because we're only, I know it's a 12 hours drive, but I can always get down there and meet up with you down there. One of our big viewers and supporters, Mel, is down there. And we'll go up
Hey,
to
Artie.
Puff. G'day, Randall. We'll go up and give her a hard time. But of course, you got Midsummer Railroad, he's down there, and a few others. So, yeah, let us know when you do come down and we meet together. 12 hours, well, it's actually not even 12 hours, it's about 10-hour run down to Melbourne now. And for us, it's going down the road almost. But yeah, let us know. Let us know, Steve. How are you, Randall?
Oh, doing pretty good, I guess. A little warm down here.
It hasn't been too bad most of the week here. It was almost like spring-like weather.
Yeah.
But last night and this morning, it's so cold here. I think we must have some bit of snow or something going on up in the Highlands.
Yeah. I
Uh,
think.
Artie is in today. I'm in last night, and Steve is in yesterday. Exactly, Andy. Exactly. I've got to love how this world works, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh, if it ain't too hot, it's too cold somewhere.
As I said, it's been magic. It's been magic. The last 2-3 weeks here, it's been absolutely magic weather here. Yeah, a little bit cold at night.
Well, I will say this: today is a little better than it was. Let's see. When did I go to Terrell, Arkansas? That was. I'd have to look at my trip sheet, but it was late August 3rd, early August 4th, I think is what it was. So it probably would have been like yesterday, early yesterday morning. It was just brutal, the heat. Even at night, it was hot.
Yeah. Well, we're expecting that for our summer this year. It has been smoky around here lately, particularly this week because they've been doing what they call back burning. They've been burning all the undergrowth around the bushes because they're expecting a very hot summer, and a lot of areas that didn't burn in 2019 in the high risk areas, they're actually doing a burn off. So if something does happen, they can control it, but there's a lot less chances of it starting up. So it's good. I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, makes it a little bit hazy. I mean, it's not as smoky or smoggy as LA is.
Yeah, I actually got a call this morning. Go to Memphis. I haven't been there in a long time.
Oh,
Memphis.
hello.
Hey, Richard, how are you, buddy?
Oh, not too bad. What's going on?
So you and your brother were down the line there.
Yeah.
Watching the 59 class go through, blowing its horn. What I was swearing and cursing in the back room there.
Oh.
Anyway,
Well, you
buddy.
get it's been coming for every weekend for the last God knows how long.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get this track work done on the layout. As you can see, I'm getting there with it.
Oh, oh,
But here
Kyle.
it's been.
Well, I was just answering Kyle Stevens there. when you step out of the van and it smells like the air is burning, that's when you know it's hot.
Yeah. Well, it's been like that this week here, or nearly 2 weeks here. I haven't needed the heater or the air conditioning. And you can say that is just right. When you don't need your AC or your heater, you know the weather's nice.
Oh, it don't get much better than that, Artie.
Yeah, but I mean, he does. Okay, in the morning, early hours in the morning, he does get a little bit nippy, but hey, saves putting an alarm clock on for 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, doesn't it, Richard?
Mate, it's been great.
Well,
Yeah.
the good news about the house I live in, it holds heat very well. The bad news is when it's summertime, it's like a blast furnace if you don't have air conditioning.
My house here, even though my front rooms face the sun, as long as I darken the windows down and keep the front doors closed and the windows closed, here comes a cookie thief. Where you go? Yes, we're on stream, buddy. Yeah, you go out. You go outside and get some. Go and pick the wood. Stop. No, leave my socks alone. Go on. She's going to pick out the timber that I need for the next stage of the layout.
There you go with it, Artie.
Well, I've got the baseboard down. I still got to do one part of it because I chopped the 4x8 board in half. I had no choice. As you know, to get into that room here is very, very awkward. So I've chopped it down in half.
Okay.
But at the ends, I got to give it a bit more support underneath. So I can secure the board and then I can start laying down, start working on the track work. The geometry that I had in mind and the track plans that I drew up, it's going to be challenging because the geometry between the two brands is different. I did want to do a reverse loop curve down on the bottom. To do it on a 22 inch just ain't going to work. And having 24-inch mainline, it's not going to work. So I got to really think it out and work it out. And now that it's set up in the training room, how it's all going to fit together. I'm not going to be able to put the reverse loop on the bottom. And still have the access to get into the maintenance facility. Because I have that back corner. So I lose roughly about 4 inches of space against the wall. So when you do like an S coming back,
yep.
Alignment. My alignment's not going to work because what it's going to do is it's going to come down the mountain. What I'm doing is it's going to be a continuous run. It's going to come down the mountain. It's going to loop around and start climbing back up again. And a couple of portions of the layout are going to create an illusion that it's a double main line.
Okay.
But in actual fact, it's only going to be one main line. So the train can actually go continuously all around on the layout. And with my train automation, it'll work out good, but it'll give you that illusion that it's a double main line.
Yeah, right. Yep.
If you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So to get it to work, my wife married Paul. Mystic. No, you married Paul. You need to find a sugar mama. I better stop that. How are you, Mystic? Nice to see you in here. G'day, Derek. How are you? So and Daryl, you don't have. We know you're streaming in the bedroom too, so he's probably got the only room in his house where he can afford air conditioning. So yeah, it's gonna get there. I'll work it out.
Oh yeah.
I've worked in a small bedroom before, and I've given myself 6 inches extra to play with because of using the broad gauge. I needed to do that. Um,
Yep.
and that will allow some of my passenger trains to run. Like I've got the Metro liners out. Lucky I got that out the other day, earlier in the week, just to give it a test run up the top level. And lucky I did because the main line out from the main area. I always give myself 6 inches extra. We're not talking about those 6 inches, Derek. um, on the main, as the train goes out, the radius is too tight. And
What's
with
the
the
radius?
metro line, she was coming off jumping off the track, so I quickly adjusted that. So now the main trains coming in and the main trains coming out are going to have 24 inches.
Yeah, probably the best.
Yeah. Now
Just running
I
here.
have put on I managed to grab a hold. I haven't bought it yet. But I managed to get a couple of Tangaras on lay-by at Joe's when I was up there early in the week.
Okay.
He's put a couple of Tangaras aside for me. So once I paid all the other bills off, I can actually go and get it. But so the Tangaras, their minimum radius, I believe, is 22-inch radius. You don't want to run them any smaller. You go from 6 inches to 20 inches. Damn. Yeah, well, we're Aussies here, Tammy. Everything is possible. Things might, even though things might look small, they can, yeah, looks are deceiving. We can go big as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, it's a challenge, but with layouts and railroads, it's always a challenge. There's even in Brewloff, there's always going to be problems when it comes down to laying track. Postmodern, how are you? Now what I am going to do is, now a lot of you guys have actually heard like people like myself and Richard talk about the color schemes that we have here on our layouts on our railroad.
Oh yeah.
Now train spotting with Barry. Now I brought him up a few. I haven't had him in my live stream personally, but I have given him shout outs and I have showed his videos on. And he actually released a video this week where he's actually got the New South Wales diesel color schemes. So I'm going to share it with you guys so you guys can get the idea what, like with our era, what me and particularly Richard mainly deal with. So you guys get an idea of our color schemes. So just give me a moment. You'll like this one. Have you subscribed to him yet, Richard?
Who is he?
Let me put his link up.
Yep.
He's train spotting with Barry. He does a lot. Has got a lot of videos of our era. And he has got a fair. Hang on, let me get this up. I'm a bit slow here. I don't have multiple screens.
That's all right.
I'm not as rich as some.
What brand of locomotive do you think that is?
Proto. Give me a
You sure?
close look underneath. Hang on.
I don't think so, man.
It's either proto or Walthers. Give us a look underneath. Yeah, it looks like a proto.
Nah. I've pulled it apart, cleaned it up, stripped it up, got it running better again, and I can't find any brand name or anything.
Has it got only a single flywheel or two flywheels?
It's a single flywheel. So I'm thinking it could be a Wolfers as far as I know.
Yeah, I think it could be a Walthers. I think that could be one of the cheaper Walthers brands. What they call them, Randall? Is it a what's that cheap one that Walthers make?
Well, they made the train line, and then they have a mainline version, but I believe that's the old train line version that Richard has there.
Yeah, there you go. Kyle Stevens just said it. It's the main one. That's the one I'm after.
Wolfers train line.
Yeah, because I have a Dash 840B from that same line.
Okay.
I'll tell you what; those are pretty heavy engines.
Yeah,
the old train line engines.
Actually goes all right, but yeah, it's a weird thing to pull apart. It's
when you pull them apart, they're a mystery. Okay,
The Dash 8 I had when I got it, the thing's over 20 years old, so I've had it a long time. I was probably not telling how long it sat on the shelf at the hobby shop at the time I bought it too, but the body was not sitting right on it. It leaned over to one side, and I couldn't figure out what was causing it. So I just took the body off and stuck some fiber, those KD fiber washers up under there, and leveled the body back out. But it was actually sitting so low to the rails it was dragging as it was going down the track.
Yeah, this thing was similar. It's like, and I went to put the drive shaft in back on the back wheel, and it's making the bogie sit up a little bit on one side. So I don't know what the bloody hell's going on there.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, Richard, because I looked mine over and I couldn't find anything wrong with the frame or anything. I don't know why it was sitting like that, but
they're very weird design. That's all I can say.
The newer versions and the new mainline versions are a lot better locomotives, as far as that's concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of the weirdest locos I've ever pulled apart, I can tell you. Cool. But yeah, it runs a lot better now.
Yeah.
You do a good job.
Good looking engine though.
G'day, Mike. How are you, buddy? Welcome. Yeah, they're great engines. So
yeah.
For what you've been getting, and for the stuff that your brother managed to acquire, that's been through all that muddy water, you've been doing a really good job in getting them all back up and going. Yeah. All right, I'm going to share this video. So,
yep, no worries.
Let me just as I said, I'm not an expert at this. Where is it? Which ends that I want? Transporting with Barry. I think that's the one. Is that the one? No, that's not the one. Here we go. That's the one I want. Okay, so I'm going to enlarge it.
Yeah.
See that all right, everybody?
Ever since diesel locomotion took over from steam, New South Wales locos have seen many different colour schemes and liveries. In this very special episode from the 1950s to the early 1990s, when it was always a surprise what you could see train spotting. Stay tuned. The first diesel locomotives that entered service to the New South Wales Government Railways, being the 40 and 41 class locomotives, entered service in 1951 to 1954. The two colour schemes that were displayed in this period were the verdant green with a yellow line, and then slightly later the Indian red with a yellow line. But there was one special scheme in 1954 which we will talk about later in this video. During the late 1950s and 60s, as diesel locomotives were taking over more and more of the steam services, more classes entered service. During this period and for quite some time after, diesel locomotives were painted in the cat's whiskers colour scheme, which was a Tuscan red background with yellow trim, and on the front and rear of each loco there was a whisker design, which got the name cat's whiskers for obvious reasons. In early versions of this, there was also a red line trim that is seen here, with slight other variations in the whisker design, from a curved whisker to a straight whisker. During the 1960s and 70s, there was little variation other than the reverse cat's whisker design, which was Tuscan red background with the cabs painted solid yellow with Tuscan stripes. This also aided with visibility of oncoming trains.
Now, I'll just pause it here. With this reverse colour scheme, they didn't come out till late 70s, early 80s, and they were basically designed for the country, so the trains can be seen coming to railroad crossings. But it's an interesting colour scheme, and it's a hard to copy too.
Take a rainbow. The Candyman. The
Oh, not
Candyman.
too bad. I've done it.
Candy.
I've managed to replicate it.
1981, the newly formed State Rail Authority had taken over from the New South Wales Railways and wanted a facelift. The newly appointed exec team sifted through 120 possible schemes, taking into account visibility and safety, and the winning scheme was what we now know as the Candy scheme. Unveiled in August of 1982, the Candy colour scheme is a red base with a thin yellow line, a thicker orange line, and a thicker again white line at the bottom, with a silver roof. The Candy colour scheme was the main livery for 10 years, being replaced by Freightwell Blue in 1992, and remains one of the most popular colour schemes today.
That's one of your trains. Our trains.
That's it.
I'd like to take this quick opportunity to give a shout out to all of our Patreon family, with a special hi to Aussie John. If you'd like to get extra content, updates, and much more, why not become a Patreon? For as little as $5, you can unlock some great content. Now back to the video. The Candy scheme was so popular that most rolling stock was painted in the colourful design, with it slowly showing up on urban and interurban trains as well as rail motors.
Hey, Marty.
The Red Terror colour scheme emerged in 1988 as a simplified scheme to the Candy. Cardiff workshops applied it to non-frontline locos, such as 44s, 45s, 48s and 49s, as a low time-consuming paint scheme. It consisted of a red base with a white stripe at the bottom. In 1989, State Rail rebranded to Freight Rail, and with the new brand came new orders for locomotives. The 82 class and 90 class were ordered, and Freight Rail did away with a lot of the older diesels. All of the new locos were painted in Freight Rail blue, along with a lot of the 80, 81 and 86 class locos. Freight Rail blue had a blue base with a thin white line and a thicker yellow line at the bottom, with a yellow cap above the cab. There were variations as seen here, with 8167 having a grey line under the yellow.
Yeah. Sorry.
Freight Rail also had a second little-known colour scheme for its non-frontline engines. That was a throwback to the cat's whiskers design of the 60s, this time in a green base with yellow whiskers, or no whiskers in the case of the X-Class. Delec Depot even used these colours for a time on its depot signage. By 2002, Freight Rail had privatised, and now all existing ex-government locomotives have their own brand livery. When Queen Elizabeth II visited Australia in 1954, a special train was retrofitted, including its 40 class locomotives, in royal blue with a yellow stripe. At this stage of Australia's history, this was also our unofficial national colours and not the green and yellow. In 1980, New South Wales celebrated its 125th anniversary of rail service, and to commemorate this, 4201 and 4836 were painted in special livery, with the official Australian colours of the green and yellow. In 1985, 4499 was painted in a special grey ghost candy to haul single-deck electric services south of Wollongong, but this was short-lived. Australia celebrated its bicentenary in 1988, and State Rail celebrated by painting several of their locos in the bicentenary colours and a striking triangular design on the nose of the cabs. Couldn't talk about liveries without a special mention of the non-diesel 46 class electric locos, which had most of the spoken about liveries, as well as Midland Red and one known as Custard. Here is 7301 at Delec Open Day in its Countryland colours. 3513 in Red Terror with the bicentennial triangle on its short hood. Thanks for listening this far. If I've missed any liveries, I'd love to hear about it, so comment below. Also, I've started a second channel called Train Stories with Barry. Here's a short promo. If you like this video, then check out this one. And remember, sometimes the wrong train can take you to the right place.
Okay. Cool, man. Yeah, actually, I reckon the reverse colour scheme is pretty easy to paint. I reckon I could do it. I reckon I could do it easy.
Yeah, I think it is actually. It is a little bit easier than the actual normal color scheme. But that gives you an idea. The color schemes that we work on, particularly Richard and myself, because it covers a long era, particularly with the Tuscan colors. Like it reached right up into the 90s. Now, Kyle mentioned that it was interesting that we have both knuckle couples and we got buffers. Now, as some of the engines did have their buffers removed. They were mainly the only time they removed the buffers is once they removed a lot of the rolling stock that had chain linked couplings, particularly with the passenger stock and some of the old freight rolling stock that had chains on them. So when they got rid of them out of the service, they basically started getting rid of the buffers. You will see in my live stream video that I did in Filmy, you would actually see that on the actual knuckles themselves, they actually had chains on them as well. That's why you'll see a lot of them had buffers on them. Plus, there was a lot involved in taking them off. What's your favorite Australian line? Well, I'm going to be biased. My favorite line, Mystic, is the line between Sydney and Wollongong, or say south of Wollongong. This is my favorite line. I'm being biased. I know I've grown up in here, but we've got the mountains. We've got the tunnels. We've actually got the longest. Hang on. Yes, we did have the longest tunnel for mainline down in here.
I'd have to say Wollongong's my favourite too, like the Wollongong area and the Mossvale line. I like the old school Don Barton. That'd be good for me. I'd like to model that one day. But my second favourite is the Casino to Wollongong line because I spent a lot of time on that line as a kid.
Oh, yeah, you're right there. That's the other line that I used to like and love as well.
I got very fond memories of that line before it got closed.
Mystic. Between Sydney and Wollongong. It's south of Sydney, right on the coast. We're about an hour and a half. But it's amazing. Like you'll go through the national park, you're going through gorges and gullies and snake your way through it. Where's the BHP? BHP is Wollongong. Wollongong. That's the best way to pronounce it. The BHP line is on the other side of the country. To drive up to there from here, it takes you 2 weeks just to get there by car. By plane, it will take you about 3-4 hours flying.
Yeah, about 3 hours.
But as you come up, but actually, when you come out from the national park, you go through the mountain, and then you start seeing the beach at the coast. You see the Pacific Ocean until you come down to Wollongong, and then it slightly goes inland, and you're just hugging down the escarpment. Hey, Chris. G'day, Kevin. How are you? And at Unanderra, at my hometown station, it's a junction for going further down the coast to Narra and to the line that Richard just said, going up the Don Barton line and the Moss Vale line. Lehigh, how are you? Welcome. And it was basically created as a shortcut for the local BHP Steelworks, which is just on the other side of the hill here. Actually, granted, they paid a large portion to have that line done, Richard, so they can actually bring the limestone trains and the iron ore and the coal down, instead of going all the way into Sydney and then coming down. So they actually paid a large portion of it, and it's another scenic ride. Need to do that one time. Hey, we're gonna have to work out when they got the steam train ride going up, and go up there with the steam train and do the circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to do that since I'm not going to be able to do much while I'm in the sling. That's my favourite line. But then my other favourite line will be the one that's up in the Wollumbar to casino. It's closed now. I was actually just thinking about that. I was listening to an old Slim Dusty song, and they were actually talking about Billy Nudgell's coffee shop, where we used to stay.
I just got, like the Moolumbar line really sticks out to me because, I got we used to, my grandparents used to live at Lismore, and we used to catch a train every Easter time to go up there. And
it's coming along. Yeah, it's coming along, Kevin. I'm going to be working on it very shortly again. But you said the Moolumbar line was very, very windy, almost as like our line here and going up to the Mossvale. It was a lot windier. I remember racing the Wollumbar passenger train that used to go through there, but when they did the XPT, I used to overtake the XPT on the Wollumbar line when she was leaving out of Wollumbar because it was going so slow around the bends, and I was actually beating it in the truck. I found Mittagong, can't find the city mentioned here. Go close to the Mittagong is another good spot, Mystic.
Mittagong's on the Highlands, man.
That's the main Sydney Melbourne line. But then another ball line. That is a very interesting railway line. And as Barry was saying in his video, you never know what you're going to see out there. You got your standard freights, but it's pot luck out there. You'll get something new coming along. You'll get interesting rolling stock. Richard is in Australia. He's about 5 minutes down the road from my place, Kevin. If I had a good arm, I can throw rocks at him.
G'day, mate. There you go. There's the Australian slang.
Yeah. I don't know if he knows too many sheep jokes or not, but
oh, you want some rude jokes or nah?
No, sheep jokes. No,
let's leave that to the Kiwis, mate.
Yeah.
They're all the sheep shaggers over there.
Have you ever seen their postcard? Have you ever seen their postcard, the way they work out the boundaries and the north, and you know how they got the North and South Island?
Oh,
you know what they classify this area as, don't you?
What's that?
West Island.
West Island. Oh, yeah, righto. Okay.
Mystic, it is a beautiful railway line. I think I have got some clips on it. If I haven't, I've got to go and do a train line video. And I tell you what, it is. And particularly with the weather rates being, I should go up there and do a train ride from Stanwell Parks and down. G'day, Gerard. Gerald, how are you? It is a very nice train trip, and honestly, most of the time I travel to Sydney by train, particularly if I'm going to the city. Hot date. I wish. Oh, you mean it's hot over there? Uh, um, it's yeah. Anyway, I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, it's nice coming down here. I've got to be biased. It is a nice line to travel on. I'll go up and get some videos off that line, and you'll see why we like it so much here. But the sad part of it is it's getting too expensive to own a house here. So he's lucky. He's got a place. He got it at the right time, but now he's just getting too overpriced.
I don't know. I got my rates the other day, $1,400. It was like freaking hell, man.
Yeah, still, but I mean, try to get into the market just to buy something here. It's to get something decent. You're looking over 700,000, 800,000. Yeah.
And that's probably a standard 3-bedroom house with a little backyard and a garage if you're lucky.
Oh no, for a garage, just another 100,000.
Yeah.
That's only well, the house next door on the corner, it went for 700,000.
Really?
It went for 700,000. They did originally want 820 for it, but and no, it didn't go. The one 3 doors up the other end that had a bigger yard than this because it's more squared. It went for 740, but it's got an old timber commission house or government housing. But eventually, that's going to get knocked down, and they're going to put either a new house like Ben or Rochelle did, or put 3-4 units on it.
Actually, I went out for a drive out Wonga Willie Way last night with a few mates, and oh my god, I've been living in the area all my life, and I got lost actually driving out there. Like, where the hell am I going now?
It went up like this.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about reopening that rail line again.
There are going to be a lot of pissed off residents. But
the railway line and that coal mine was there first, and they started to say, we need that to keep the economy down there going.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, look how many trains we got going up to Sydney now. People going to travel an hour and a half to Sydney by train, an hour and a half, 2 hours back, and that's if nothing goes wrong.
Oh, that's right.
So, 700,000, that works out roughly about 590. Gerald, that's in my area. I'm not talking about areas like Richard or say further up north. When we start talking up further up north from here, we start talking in millions.
Oh,
millions.
Right. You're talking about Thurul and all that way.
Oh, what was it? What was it the other Thursday night? I just turned over to the local channel. There was one house up in my old area at East Corrimal. Robin knows where I used to live. An old house over there went for $3.5 million.
Oh, God almighty.
And I'm like, $3.5 million. How on earth are you going to pay that? You need to get at least a job that pays you $5,000 a week. You know, it's at least. And what's going to happen when the interest rates go up again?
I'm flat out paying off my mortgage.
And you got it at a cheap rate. How are these people affording these? I mean, I've seen it in Sydney, the ridiculous prices. $3, $4, $5 million for a. I don't know if some of the people have seen my house here. Pay $5 million for something like this up there. Come on. Then you need a $15. Then you need at least $10,000 to $15,000 a week job.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's right.
No. So I got my plans. What I'll be doing later on next year. So sadly, I'm gonna have to move from here, but I won't be too far from my third favourite line, which is the number going across to Perth. So, and I heard Robin was telling me actually that Horizon is taking up the old line. G'day, PKW. How are you, buddy? Is taking over the line going out to Sejuna.
Okay.
So it's going to be interesting to see all the Queenslanders coming down to South Australia. They don't enjoy it during the daytime, but they're going to hate it during the winter, during the nighttime in winter, because it gets very cold down there. 3 weeks to count. Yes, something like that. So anyway, guys, I am going to call it quits. So sorry for the short show, because I really need to get the layout going. I do want to get it finished by Saturday at the end of the week. Not finished. I just want to get the tracks laid and operational by Saturday this week, because then I've got to clean up and tools down. Because Wednesday week I'm going for my next operation on my shoulder, left shoulder. So that's going to put me out of action for at least 8 weeks. So stay tuned for next weekend. Hopefully I'll get the trains going. If not, we'll get the trains going together. I'm going to have my phone turned off for at least another 48 hours, Robin. I'll call you once I've finished the job.
You're going to work on it today, Artie?
Hey?
You're going to work on it today?
Yeah, I have to, mate. I got to.
Hey, do you want a hand? Because my brother told me not to come today.
If you want.
Yeah, I'll come around.
All right. Give me about half an hour. Give me about half an hour, okay?
Yeah, no worries. I'm cleaning up all the tools at the moment anyway, so.
Yeah, give me an hour, and because I've got to go up the road too. So, sorry about the short show, but I do want to get.
That's all good, Artie. Sorry I didn't talk much.
Yeah.
Stop teasing with those trains.
Here, at least show you one of my Frisco engines before we got off the air.
Okay, you show that off. I just want to make a quick run.
What brand's that one there, Randall?
That is an Atlas Silver Series, Richard.
Atlas Silver Series.
I actually bought this one secondhand. Somebody actually did a little weathering on it and everything, but it was worth the money. I mean, it was way under $100 when I got it. So,
do you mind? Can I have a look underneath it, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure. It's a sound ready engine, Richard. It's got the.
Just go out.
It's got the correct.
You had it too close to the camera there. Can you just go under?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're right. Go out. Okay, yeah. Interesting. So it's an old school Atlas. It's not too new, by the look of it.
Yeah, it's not a new Atlas, but it's still new enough. It has provisions for sound in it because the speaker area is right back here where the radiators are.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. That's interesting.
I believe that one would be too. I believe that'd be too modern for Split Rock.
I see I lost the sunshade off of it again, so I'll have to find it.
Yeah.
Every time I get a lay down now, I got to pull it apart and see what's in it.
Hope that thing didn't take off on the floor or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Frisco. So where's that line, roughly, in America? Somewhere.
The Thayer subdivision where I work at actually started life as a Frisco main line.
Okay.
So the full name of this railroad is actually the St. Louis and San Francisco Railroad. Unfortunately, the railroad never obtained its San Francisco part of its name, but everybody just shortened the name to the Frisco, and it basically stuck. So this paint scheme is actually the road's final paint scheme before it was absorbed into Burlington Northern. So
Okay,
Hmm.
cool. Yeah. All right.
Good run, Louise.
Yeah. All right, guys. Sorry, Randy, I'm going to cut it short today.
Oh, don't worry about it, Artie.
I want to get this.
I just want to show that thing off before we got off there.
Yeah.
So
No, that's all
So
right.
anyway, people, have a great weekend. Go and check Barry's channel out. He's got some fantastic videos and photos from particularly era that myself and Richard are modeling. And he has got a lot of photos of trains that used to run down to my area before electrification and after electrification. Go and check him out. Give him some support. And I haven't checked out his new channel, but I am going to check. It sounds very interesting, so I'm going to check it out. So everybody, have fun, stay safe, and
have a great
see you
night, everybody.
next week. Bye for now.
Righto.